Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Inside Movies Galore. I'm your host, David Sturgey, and even though I am still in my Christmas coonskin cap, I'm going on about Albert Pyun's last film that ended up having its debut at a festival here in Milwaukee called Milwaukee Twisted Dreams. And it is brought to us by Kernan Pictures with Sound Logic Studios and Persistent Films in association with producers Cynthia Kernman and Brad Thornton, being directed by a legend in the independent film industry, Albert Pyun of Nemesis, 1, 2, 3, and 4, Cyborg, The Sword and the Sorcerer, recently a film dealing with the title of Avalar, and of course Arcade from Full Moon Productions, which eventually I'll get back to and view myself. I've visited a few of his films before, had some success, and I just wanted to go on about this film, which is a science fiction, action, and political films, and it seems to be larger than life, but done on a small scale. Much of the film was probably in a room with a ton of green screens. They don't have to be green, but you can almost create a holographic digital image in order to create your locations. And I've noticed that in some independent films lately. I'm going to mention a few, like Badass Monster Killer, and before that, Planet of the Vampire Women, directed by Darren Wood, somewhat recently in 2011 and 2015, as well as recently Salvaging Outer Space, which, check that film review out. Another director I have known to have used similar design, just not on such a grander scale, is the director of Dr. Mabuse and Dr. Mabuse Epitomar, directed by Ansel Faraj under Alpha Video. And I'm mentioning these films because these are films that have used green screens in a similar manner at least the type that I'm trying to describe. And as I understand, it is Avalar: Tales of an Ancient Empire was filmed in a similar scope as well. The film that I am going on to talk about is called Interstellar Civil War: Shadows of the Empire, filmed in 2017. It was also called Guardians of the Future at one point in time. In the film, we have a race of beings or factions that are led by an empress played by Ellie Church, Six Babes and Babes from Outer Space recently, and as well as the Bad Man, which I think she did a phenomenal job in, who goes by the name of Nobu. Which it seems her guiding force is a group of women that call themselves Buo something or other. It is hard for me to remember the exact name, but these are a group of mystics that consider themselves to be precognitive, which means that they believe that they can control exactly what happens in the future. Much of the first half of the film is political, where we see the mystics that appeared to be the council for the Empress over a planet called Endor, which apparently is in turmoil over some rash decisions of the Empire, which means that there is a rebellion, and the Rebel Alliance is led by Kindo Kir, another mystic who knows some dark energy, which is exactly why this group of mystics is set against destroying Kindo Kir and squelching the rebellion and its midst. I have to say that I'm getting somewhat of a George Lucas Star Wars meets Frank Herbert's Dune kind of vibe, because every so often there are quotes from the Empress Nobu, and for some reason the group of female mystics that I aforementioned kind of remind me of the Bene Gesserit that predicted the Kizat's Haderach in the world of Dune. Much of the dialogue was done with much seriousness to the extent that I feel could probably turn a lot of viewers away. But bear in mind, it gets better as we find out that there is a plot that was sentenced over 100 years ago by these mystics. Some kind of DNA that can turn into a virus. And the film, even it explores an act of rape, which starts the intergalactic war to begin with. The reason why I say don't give up on this film is for the stellar performance, which I believe was put on by actor Brad Thornton, who played in Albert Pyun's Sorcerer, who played the character of Captain Starslayer Burke. One of the main characters was part of the mission to retrieve the certain someone that had created the entire war to begin with. Brad Thornton kind of reminds me of a ripped version of Adrian Brody, except he has more of a Snake Plissken attitude. I think that this film is ready to rock the science fiction atmosphere of this film community. If you enjoy this kind of a film, all I have to say is look to the stars. I didn't want to say too much about the film, as this was the premiere of the film, which was at the Times Cinema here in Milwaukee. Like I said before, at the Milwaukee Twisted Dreams Festival, which is run by Christopher Kai House and Stephen Millens. So far that I have heard, the Twisted Dreams Festival put on a kind of old-fashioned spook show that weekend, and from what I hear, it is heading into its 5th season going on. So hopefully you enjoyed my description of this film. Like and subscribe to my page if you have not. Definitely check the film out. If it ever gets a printed copy, I'm hoping that it ultimately gets a physical copy somewhere down the road. It deserves a slot on a disc, at least to be seen. I think that people in the science fiction community will definitely enjoy it for what it is. I mean, I hope to see it one day perform as well as Albert Pyun had hoped. Right now, he's funding for his newest film. Let me see here. Albert Pyun. Yes, since he's been around for quite some time. Yeah, he is funding right now on GoFundMe for his Badass Angels and Demons. So please check that out. I know that he is still looking for funds for that film. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day, evening, or morning, wherever you are. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And let me know down in the comments if you've seen it along its film festival activity. Thank you so much.